Today's second stage of the Mersey Valley Tour starts in Sheffield, the quaint little town well known for its murals. A stroll through the streets takes you back in time with pioneer-themed murals painted on the beautiful old buildings throughout the town. Well, as you can see, the weather conditions for stage 2 completely different to what we saw in the time trial of stage 1. It's raining, it's cold, not very windy, but the conditions will be very tricky for the ladies out on course and quite slippery. Hopefully they can all stay upright. The course itself is 80 kilometres. There are 2 24-kilometre circuits once they leave the town here of Sheffield, but there are 3 Queen of the Mountain climbs out along the circuit, which will be quite challenging. And then of course there's that 5-kilometre climb up to the finish line itself. Really well suited to a rider like Ruth Corset, who won the stage last year. And another rider that may challenge is Annalisa Hull.
I think that Bridie is going to try and get away a bit early, getting a bit of a head start onto the base of that climb to get Ruth the leader's jersey. I know there's a fair few other stronger climbers here today. Lucy Caldwell should be looking to make up some time, and also Ellen Scarrett, who lost a little bit of time in the time trial yesterday.
There's going to be some teams that want to be aggressive, so it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. It's going to be a hilly stage, hard roads, guess could be quite slippy, so there's a lot of factors that will play into today. So yeah, we just have to see how things pan out and react to it.
If I looked into a crystal ball, I really couldn't see anyone getting the better of Ruth Corset on that final climb today. I think she's the favourite for the stage. The rain coming down, the conditions did get treacherous, and only 4 kilometres into the stage there was an unfortunate crash in the slippery conditions, the worst of the injured being Ashley Hocking, who went to hospital with a nasty gash in her leg. But as the rain started to ease somewhat, the riders did enjoy the beautiful scenery through the Mersey Valley as some small attacks went up the road, but they were controlled pretty well by the main field. And eventually, after 25 kilometres, we saw 2 riders get away.
That was our team plan, to be really aggressive in the first bit of the race. Got away with Nicole when we worked really well together. I was feeling really good, so yeah, our goal was for one of us to be up the road and make it easier, and just to try and hold on for as long as I can.
They weren't a massive threat to the overall general classification, and they weren't from the big teams that we were concerned about. So we didn't want them to stay away. We did want it to be together at the bottom of the climb, but it was just a break that we had to make sure we watched and didn't let the gap draw out too far.
Nicole Morig from Boss Racing and Taryn Heather from the Bicycle Superstore worked very well together out in front and stretched their lead right out to 1 minute and 10 seconds. The breakaway took up the early points in the first of the Queen of the Mountain sprints. The Peleton cruised over the top of the climb a little bit further behind, and then one of the race favourites, Ellen Scarrett, had a mechanical mishap and had to chase to get back in touch with the main field.
We heard all the high five getting together, and obviously no one's going to suddenly attack when you know that that's happening. Her team obviously worked really well together, and within sort of probably about 5 minutes or less she was back up next to us again, so don't think it was too many dramas for their team.
The main field was being controlled by the overall race leader, Bridie O'Donnell, riding for the Total Rush Hister team.
I was riding for Ruth today, and I think she got dropped a couple of times on some of the climbs, but always got back on and was there for Ruth the whole day, and her job was obviously to drop Ruth at the bottom of the climb, and they did. Going into the climb it was Bridie and Ruth 1-2, and Bridie drove it for that last probably 5 or 10 k's going into the climb.
I think Nicole and I were away until 4.5 k's to go, and then hill climbers got us just then.
There was some tense moments, but I think we all were hoping it was going to come back. And then really I was quite lucky because on the climb, I was looking for the yellow jersey, so I could just sit in and just try and follow the attacks, and just had to grit my teeth.
After fighting back from the early mechanical mishap, Ellen Skerritt was just behind the leaders halfway up the climb. She was joined by another young rider, Annalisa Hull.
Ruth was attacking all the way up that climb, making life really, really hard for us. Every single steep climb, she attacked and just kept going as hard as she could, and certainly gapped me a couple of times, but I just had to, grit my teeth and hang on. And then, luckily she'd spent all of her energy and the last bit wasn't quite so steep, and I was able just to attack and get a gap and keep going.
After a seesaw battle up the final climb, eventually it was Lucy Caldwell from Holden Women's Racing that took the stage victory, 8 seconds ahead of Ruth Fawcett, and 10 seconds further back was Janelle Crooks.
Totally right, thank you. Not really known as a climber, so yeah, it was, I guess, unexpected, but yeah, absolutely stoked.
Well, you're known as a climber now.
Maybe. I've been training, so.
Third on the stage was Janelle Crooks, just behind Ruth Fawcett in second, and the stage winner, Lucy Caldwell from Holden Women's Racing. After spending most of the day in the breakaway, Taryn Heather leads the Queen of the Mountains competition by 4 points. And the new race leader of the Mersey Valley Tour is Lucy Caldwell from Holden Women's Racing. She has a 37-second lead over Ruth Fawcett heading into the third and final stage.